It's just 100% chaos. It's wild. We were just running around, and it was tricky because vamp speeding with Dennis, who plays Russell, and it's a little tricky because we can't see. We're this close to each other, and we're running around and leading each other basically. And with that strobing light, it was a couple of close calls there. We almost fell. They were talking about maybe shooting it, finding a location here in LA. But I'm so happy that we went, because you just, like, you can't recreate that. You can't, like, to get that vibe, the atmosphere, those shots where you see those crowds and the intensity of that. You just can't shoot that on a sound stage, a backlot, or somewhere around here. That is just a very unique vibe there. And it was, of course, it got a little crazy. It was a big group of us, and we were all obviously in makeup and fangs and, you know, Eric's outfit, costume, and so people did recognize us, and that was a bit of a problem in the beginning because the whole point were that people didn't really notice us. We walked down the street and we were tripping, and but like I said, it was a wild Friday night on Bourbon Street, so people got a little excited and started high-fiving us and screaming and clapping and singing, and it turned into this big street fest.
We had 200 extras, and the idea for that was that they would surround us, so that as we were walking down the street, the extras would be around us, so that if there were any other people on Bourbon Street, if there were, we wouldn't see them, you know. But we live in a world where every single person has a camera phone and can tweet that stuff immediately and film. And so by 9:30, we'd turned up. Nobody knew we were going to be there. Suddenly, there were 2,000, 3,000 people there and drinking, and every single balcony and every single square inch of Bourbon Street was taken up with onlookers taking pictures.
Both Pam and Tara survivors. So, you know, you see a moment of kindness from Pam and that understanding. You know, she's not your mom anymore. She's not. And I thought it was a funny line because I say in 100 years, you won't even remember her. And 100 years seems so long to a human, but I just read it as it's like a blip, you know, in no time. And also there's the subtext of, she's not your mother anymore. But Pam can't even say it. It's like,
We either have the sort of the one-handed zap or the two-handed zap, you know, and maybe one's a little bigger than the other, you know. It's a lot of waving your arms around in the air and feeling a little silly, but looks pretty cool once they put the lighting effect in post and you're basically chucking lightning bolts at things.
There's so many storylines and there's so much craziness that happens that a lot of us don't get to see each other very much, and it just depends on the season. But yeah, Suki and I were together a lot in the first season, which was great, and then she took off, and then we've kind of been missing. But I think our relationship has really grown because the first season was all about me being a protector and also having a crush on her and a little bit of unrequited love. And we had a little bit of a fight, and then we split up, and now we're just trying to get back, and we're friends, and I think we're really close, and our relationship has grown in that way.
Lilith is basically, she was created in God's image. So Lilith is a female version of what every one of us might think God is. God is everything, is everywhere, is omnipresent. This is what Lilith is for us. She's been created in God's image. And back in the time, there was this various stories on Lilith that she was considered the wife of Adam, but she didn't want to submit to this man. So she decided that she would step out of this sort of relationship, and God rewarded her by making her vampire. That is the highest state of all. And she becomes a symbol of purity, of law, and she's, you know, whatever anyone thinks or believes is the most pure, and it's the conscious, it's the deepest conscious of us all. This is what Lilith is for me.
This season we're really beginning to explore vampire religion, and Lilith being the progenitor, the vampire, and the Book of Lilith. And many of the vampires are split about this. Some of them are believers, some of them are apostates, some of them are agnostic, some of them are atheists. And there's a real split because you can take this book, like the Bible, and use it to justify anything. And so a lot of the vampires use it to justify coexistence with human beings, and other vampires use it to justify vampire firstism. Russell's very practical. He goes to whoever is sort of going to give him the best deal.